It's not easy getting in or out of a nuclear power plant, which nearly everyone will find reassuring. After years of being vilified, nuclear power is back on the agenda. According to the World Nuclear Association, more than 30 non-nuclear countries are now actively considering embarking on a nuclear power program, while others like Sweden have reversed their ban. Nuclear energy is cheap, produces almost no carbon emissions and provides massive amounts of electricity. But it arouses deep misgivings in a large part of society. Many believe that it's simply too dangerous to use, either because of the risk of accidental radioactive contamination or from nuclear waste that remains radioactive for thousands of years. This is the Forsmark nuclear power plant in Sweden. It was completed in 1980 with 3 reactors producing around 22,000 gigawatt hours a year. In spite of 2 incidents, its operators say it is completely safe. We're being shown around the plant with reactor physicist Professor Janne Wallenius of KTH Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm. One of the new generation of scientists working in nuclear energy, we asked him outside the power station why nuclear energy is becoming increasingly more acceptable to governments. Ireland, Portugal, Turkey, Algeria, Egypt, Venezuela, Chile, more and more governments are considering nuclear power. What's changed?
I think that what has changed is that people have seen that we have been able to operate commercial nuclear power plants now for over 30 years in a safe manner. That this fact, in combination with that, we see increased electricity prices in many places, and the fact that global climate change has become such an important item on the agenda, is that it's becoming very difficult to continue ignoring nuclear power.
3 Mile Island and Chernobyl. Can you reassure the general public that incidents like these won't happen again?
Well, when it comes to Chernobyl, it was simply an ill-designed plant. Nobody will ever build such a plant again. When it comes to light water reactors, such as the one we have here in Forsmark, they are inherently designed to shut themselves down if the fuel would get too hot or if the coolant gets too hot. So any kind of incident would not lead to an explosion like the one in Chernobyl. We also know that we have systems for filtering out radioactivity, we have containments, and also we have new reactors coming online which would reduce the probability of core damage leading to radioactive releases.
One of the concerns that the general public has about nuclear energy is the fact that the waste is dangerous, is radioactive, for tens of thousands of years. What technologies are there to either dispose of or safely store nuclear waste?
Well, for instance, here in Sweden we have developed a concept where the spent fuel will be stored in copper canisters, which are highly corrosion resistant. And if you put them then 500 meters below ground and you use a series of barriers, today we can more or less guarantee that there will be no leakage of radioactive substances going to the surface that would cause harm to living creatures, even during 100,000 years of storage. We might be able to develop new types of nuclear reactors which can use the uranium fuel over 100 times more efficiently. With new types of reactors, we could operate nuclear power not only for the next 100 years, we could operate nuclear power for the next 10,000 of years. We would also be able actually to recycle the long-lived nuclear waste with new types of reactors. We could reduce the time needed to store the waste deep underground from 100,000 years to less than 1,000 years. And that may become possible with new types of reactors that we are presently developing.
Right, at the moment, nuclear power contributes, I think, about 70% of world electrical demand. Do you think that's going to grow?
I believe personally that 40 years from now, nuclear power could provide 1/3 of the electricity production in the world. We see already today that in Europe, nuclear power does provide 35% of the electricity. And with new types of reactors and with if we are able to educate good young nuclear engineers, then I think we will be able to accomplish that objective. If we would rely only on renewables or on, for instance, carbon capture and storage, it would be a huge and tremendous challenge to accomplish this goal. Nuclear power can not only contribute, but I think it's an inevitable part of the energy mix in the future. I would really hope that we can see nuclear power contribute to energy production in the world, and also that more countries will be able to benefit